and teams have taken all collegiate sports to the next level.
Oh my goodness! Back to Jones. She lets it fly from deep, and she buries it. Oh, a wraparound. He's got some speed down the sideline. Touchdown, Bulldogs!
The new collegiate record belongs to Parker Valby.
In front, Stockfish, offload shot, score!
Smith taking three. That is crushed.
It's a touchdown!
Welcome, everybody, to the Averett Sports Network here on Flow College. My name is Thomas Heaney III, joined by my partner Carlos Soli, as we get set for this matchup between the Averett University Cougars and the visiting Methodist University Monarchs. Averett women's soccer getting going here at home. They dropped their first home game against Greensboro. Their last game, we get set for the starting lineups. Carlos, who are a couple players that you have set here to watch for?
To watch out for number 22, Cameron Piper. She's the player to watch for Methodist. She scored both goals in the USA South final versus Southern Virginia last year, so she knows when to step up. And for Averett, number 13, Isabel Evans, has 2 goals and 2 assists so far. She's proved to be the telling factor so far this season for Averett.
Yeah, Evans, you mentioned her, the senior from Chesapeake, Virginia, getting the start here. She leads the Cougars in points, as you said, and Averett looking to get a win here, 1-1-1 on the season, 0-1-1 at home, so this would be their first home victory, and we were talking about it a little bit before we started here, but Methodist is coming off of a pretty successful season, isn't that right?
Yeah, they got all the way to the NCAA tournament. They did lose in the first round, but right before that, they closed out the season with 5 wins, and not only 5 wins, 5 wins, which made them champions of the USA South Conference, but also 5 wins, which included 5 clean sheets in a row. So this is a very difficult team to break down.
Yeah, head coach Brian Mayday in his 16th season here for the Monarchs and coming off of a very successful one. They're 0-2 to start the season, so still looking for their first victory, and this is a matchup that I just find pretty interesting. Carlos, you were mentioning it earlier as well. The historical matchup here, Averett has really struggled in this game against the Monarchs, 6-27-1, isn't that right?
That's right, and Averett have struggled with their last win against Methodist coming here in 2013, so the world looked very different at that time.
Yeah.
But also, it will be a very good test for Averett. They've faced many different teams kind of tactically so far, But what's really interesting is that this will be a good test for Averett because, as we mentioned, Methodist drew against both teams, EMU and Guilford, and those teams are two teams that Averett will face later on in the season. So it will really tell what their level is.
Yeah, for sure. And you take a look at the Methodist side here. Allie Carter, leader in points through the first 2 games with 2. It's been a slow start for Methodist, but they'll be looking to try to get a win here. Averett looking for their first home victory of the season. We'll send it down to public address announcer Drew Wilson for the starting lineups. And we are back. Sorry, technical difficulties there. The game has kicked off here, and Averett will start with the ball. Averett in their white tops, Methodist in their green. Cougars getting set to take on the Monarchs here at Frank R. Campbell Stadium.
Yeah, this game against the Monarchs will be a very good test. The Monarchs, who are the reigning USA South tournament champions, as we mentioned, they got all the way to the NCAA tournament. This is a very capable team, a team that beat Greensboro 2-0 twice last season, the team that Averett lost against last time out. And one of those wins was in the USA South tournament semifinal. So this is a team that are very capable.
Carolina Simpkins back there, goalkeeper for the Monarchs today. The junior from Sanford, North Carolina. And on the topic of goalkeepers, Carlos, looked like we had a little bit of a lineup change before the game. Isn't that right?
Yeah, there's two changes, but the big change is the swap in goalies, Kronz in and Heinbaugh out. It's an interesting change. They're two different kind of goalies, so it might just be a game plan change. It's very early on in the season, so it's still very normal for managers to find out what works best, what systems work, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, Colton Duchess in his second season here, coaching the Averett women's soccer team. And like you said, it might be a scheme fit or adjustment, as we'll have our first corner kick of the day. It'll be for Averett, far right side of the field. First opportunity here for the Cougars to strike first. The pass inside, it's loose, kicked around, and now picked up there from Simpkins. Crisis averted there for the Monarchs. Trying to move it up the field here, and Pedraza is there. Tries to kick it out of bounds. It'll be a throw-in. She'll get it into her teammate. Still moving around here. Overly in pursuit. Couldn't get it. Back all the way across the field here.
Methodists are trying to assert their dominance in this game. They were caught offside, I believe, now, but you could see straight away in the way they played their passes. It seems like they will go for a very patient approach, and when there's space, they'll attack it, but they don't seem to be a team like Salem College who will sit back and absorb pressure and then catch you on the counterattack.
Yeah, Averett tied Salem 3-3 earlier here in the season.
Yeah, those who were with me on the Averett Sports Network that game, we had a great time. 3-0, and Averett started that game so well.
Pushing it now here. Here comes a shot towards the net. It's saved by Simpkins. Ball still loose and kicked out of bounds here. Good opportunity there for Averett. That was number 26, Millard, who was able to kick it out, and a good save from Simpkins.
Yeah, great piece of attacking play. They were able to win the ball up high and then a 1-2, which split the defense, and then they created a very dangerous opportunity.
So hot start here for Averett. Corner kicks on both sides of the field. And another pass inside. Ball is going to be loose. Rolling all the way to the far side of the 10-yard line. Kicked around and out of bounds.
A very dangerous cross. They were able to get it to the second post. The only thing that lacked was that connection between the runner and the corner taker. Those things are very difficult to execute, but once they're executed, they're very dangerous. We saw that against Salem College when Isabella Kelly was able to pounce on Isabel Evans' pass.
Just over 4 minutes in here, Carlos. Averett has been ultra aggressive on offense. 2 corner kicks and a shot on net that was saved by Simpkins, and so you gotta be pretty pleased if you're Coach Duchess so far early on.
Yeah, even though it's very early on, you should be pleased. You should be pleased with the intensity and urgency of play that Averett are showing. They had it at times against Greensboro, but that they're able to turn it up straight away versus Methodist shows a very good resilience and mental strength.
Ball around the 50-yard line here, kicked around, and all the way back. There's Millard again trying to get it. Ball goes out of bounds. Taylor Parks, the sophomore out of Clarksburg, Maryland, hovering around the ball. It'll be a throw-in for Methodist. And Sydney Stoll. And back into play here. Kicked over, and it's like Evans trying to keep it alive there. Go back the other way here to Sydney Stoll. Ball kicked out of play multiple times here. Let's see if we can get it in this time. And they do. Methodist trying to push it towards the box, and it's kicked back out of bounds.
Yeah, the throw-ins in this game will be very important as, for those who watched last game, Greensboro showed real urgency, and they were very, very much able to capitalize on throw-ins, catching Averett when they were lapsing in their concentration. So being switched on from the first second will be very important in these throw-in situations.
Ludka now with a corner kick for the Monarchs, and it's going to be a shot on net, but it'll be picked up there. Crones, her first save of the season.
Yeah, very good save. She seemed very safe and very assured when she caught the ball. That was very impressive.
Coach Duchess, we talked about it, going with the goaltender change today. Going from number 1 to number 99. Can't get much bigger of a number difference there, and she'll be in the net, gets her first save and her first opportunity. Ball back into play here. Patchett fighting hard, trying to keep the ball in, and it'll go back out of play. Averett will take possession over, and the turnover from the Monarchs.
This game has started intense, but I'm hoping, for the sake of the game, that there'll be even more control so that a team might be able to open up the other team, just like we saw Averett create their chance. I think that's what's going to make this game even more interesting.
Monarchs on offense here. It's been a little bit of a struggle so far. Had a corner kick shot on net just a few moments ago, but other than that, Averett has done a really good job here on defense of taking the ball away.
Yeah, they have. They've stood firm so far, and they've stood firm for a lot of the season in general. Even though, sure, they've conceded a couple goals, but if you look at the goals, it's not always something wrong with the formation or the way the players have stood strong. So I think if Averett really get the defensive game right, then they'll be a very capable team this year.
And another shot on net there, but once again, Crones is right at the net to make the save. 2 shots on net here in the last 2 minutes for the Monarchs. Pedraza in a straitjacket, and it's taken away. Ali Quasar there picks it up, and now a tackle from number 11, Taylor Parks.
Yeah, Averett tried to start a counterattack quickly, which is very positive to see. You want to catch your opponent when they aren't in formation, when it is those transitions. But Methodist did a really good job of getting back and then applying pressure quickly.
Ludka now will send it over. Oh, that's a good one towards the net, and just goes over the head of a Monarch.
Yeah, that was a teasing pass,
Yeah.
but and they beat the Averett defense, but they beat the Methodist attack too, so it came out for nothing.
That was Carter, the leading point scorer so far this season, looking for her 3rd point, just over her head there. Yeah, I mean, if that pass is a couple of feet lower, might be a goal.
Mm-hmm. Because it was sent in that space. That space is very dangerous. We referred to it earlier on in the season as no man's land, just because it's that space behind the center backs, but in front of the goalkeeper. So you don't know really who's going to pounce on that, and it's very common for the attackers to be aware of that kind of situation and then just get a foot in.
Yeah, and that's got to be difficult, too, for the goalie, Carlos. I mean, when it's up in the air like that, you see some goaltenders be ultra aggressive and try to come out and grab that ball. You also don't want to be too aggressive, and then you leave the net wide open as well.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Tough play.
Exactly. So it's that timing and knowing when to do what, which is very important. There's usually a rule of thumb for goalkeepers, which is don't go out when there's a duel between 2 players, because if it deflects and it goes over you, then you're not prepared.
Yeah, 100%. Averett now with the ball. Pedraza sends it towards the net, and Simpkins comes out and makes the catch. Good opportunity there from Pedraza, but still Averett sitting at 0 goals. Both teams having a hard time knocking down the door here.
Yeah, as you mentioned, they're having a difficult time knocking down the door. I mean, they're huffing and puffing to a great extent so early in the game. You usually see teams taking a little longer time and using this start of the game to settle into the game. But to be honest, it seems like two teams just want to go at each other. It's great for the neutral.
Averett was held to just 1 goal in their last game against Greensboro. Obviously, you were on the call for that one. Minifo had the lone Averett goal as here come the Monarchs all the way down the field. Trying to find something here. Kuras takes a shot. It's blocked. And now rolls out of play. Good defense there by Averett.
Yeah, it was Selena Peloton. She stood really strong. She just jockeyed her opponent, keeping her at somewhat a distance, keeping her at bay, but showing her onto her right foot, keeping her out of those central areas, and then just forcing her to poorly execute her cross. So it was very well played defensively.
Pelton, the junior from Fayetteville, North Carolina, making the nice play, as you said, Carlos. As a little miscommunication on that one will lead to an Averett turnover.
Yeah, she tried to find her fullback in the half space. The intention is correct, but they just weren't able to connect, and it means that it's a throw-in now.
So throw in here. The Monarchs trying to get their first goal of the night. Takes a shot, and it's blocked up by Averett, but now the ball gets loose. Here comes a shot towards the net. Oh, it hits off the post. Wow, huge opportunity there for Methodist, but to no avail. The score is still 0-0.
I mean, it doesn't get any scarier than that. Averett just survived a huge chance. It was very well played. The right winger cutting inside, as she's tried to do a couple times so far this game, and Averett were unlucky that it bounced straight into the path of the striker. But I mean, that's dangerous. We're lucky that it's still 0-0.
So all the way back down here, Crone sends it over. Averett can't pick it up, though. It goes right back over to Methodist. Dangerous opportunity there now. Three pretty good looks there for the Monarchs at the net, and Crohn's has been able to stand strong. That one was as close as it gets.
Yeah, that is as close as it gets without scoring, because they beat Crohn's, but they beat the goal too, as we say. She did a really good job of getting down quickly and closing her angles, making life difficult for the striker, but it was a good finish, able to keep it low and hard, but it just got curved a little too much and it went out.
Pedraza trying to keep control of the ball. She keeps it right and finally gives it up there to Stoll. Averett keeping the pressure on here, though, as you see Norris trying to get involved and all the way back down to Simpkins.
Yeah, they are keeping the pressure high, and it's very great to see. But Methodists are doing a really good job of drawing that press. You see now they're advancing the pitch at high pace. They drew that Averett press to find those spaces in between the lines.
Yeah, how can the Monarchs beat this Averett press on the other side? Here comes Stoll past the 25, gives way to number 26, Millard. Millard sends a crosser over and picked up there from Crohn's.
Averett were caught somewhat off guard, as Methodist did a really good job of bypassing their press and entering that final third. They did such a good job until that final pass. But Averett did a good job of maintaining them on the outside once they've changed or switched the point of attack. It's so difficult to close those central areas at times, but Averett did a good job of doing so.
Crohn's comes back out after kicking it away and takes it right back out. 31 minutes here, the first half, still 0-0. Kicks it with the right. They were having a hard time getting the ball past the 50 here, and now they finally do. Full head of steam, running out of players to pass to, though. Here comes Patchett, picked off there from Pedraza, but then regained by Millard. Back over to Stoll. Averett doing a good job here, keeping the ball in front of them. Pushing the Monarchs back here on offense, and all the way back now to Simpkins, the goaltender. A 50-50 ball fought for. Stoll trying to get it, as well as Ava Norris of Averett. And now some full possession here for the Monarchs. Pass past the 10. Picked up there from the Cougars and sent back out of play. going to be Coutier there trying to get the ball in. Menifo in pursuit, can't get it, and rolls back out of play. So we reach under 30 minutes here, 0-0 score, Averett and Methodist.
Yeah, it's been tight in terms of possession at least, but both teams are attacking in different manners. Whenever Averett are attacking, it seems like there's a little more space just because they try to attract Methodist by letting them have the ball a little, and then whenever they can, just attacking whatever space there is, whilst Methodist seems to be a little more patient and are a little more comfortable in retaining possession in that defensive middle third before entering that attacking third.
I'll throw in here for the Cougs. Trying to keep it in here. Monarchs take it away as the sun peeks out through the clouds here at Daly Field. A cloudy day for the most part. Nice move there, trying to keep it alive. It's Millard. You can kind of see, Carlos, too. I mean, the Monarchs are just on their heels on offense. They've multiple times now have sent it all the way back to the goalkeeper, just trying to find some sort of crack through the Averett defense.
Yeah, it seems like they're sending it all the way back in an attempt to maintain possession, but also in an attempt to draw the Averett press further up to then find that space in behind.
There's some space right there as they head towards the net, and that shot will be wide left. Like you said, I mean, it's effective. It's an effective way to play defense for sure. You do potentially can get yourself caught up in some tricky situations, though, if you're playing too aggressive. We've seen that a couple of times here where the Monarchs have had a shot at an open net and missed a couple of times, so still 0-0.
It's still 0-0 here, but the Averett men's team traveled to Greensboro to play against them, and with 83 minutes and 55 seconds played, it's 2-0 to Averett. The first goal coming from Joshua Garcia and the second one coming from Merrick Hanscom. So for the men's team, it's been a good night so far.
And we've got both the Averett women's and the Averett men's team going at it tonight, and that's a big one there for the men's squad. Obviously, you look at the loss of John Thomas Buckley early in the season to the knee injury, already had to deal with some adversity, and that would be a huge win for them if they're able to close that one out about 45 minutes south of Danville.
Yeah, it would be huge, and it would be a really big relief just because then you would feel that this formation change that they've done would be beneficial. You know, they've opted for a more pragmatic style this year, and it's had its struggles defensively. They've stood firm, but it's just the lack of creativity at times. So if they're able to win 2-0 and keep a clean sheet, which has been the whole point of the formation change, but also, you know, show some offensive prowess, that would be the best of both worlds for that team.
A big game down there in Greensboro. A former USA South rivalry between Averett and the Pride. Right now, Averett women's team trying to break the tie here. 0-0 still. With just over 26 minutes left. First half of action. Ball kicked around here. Averett tries to send it over, and the Monarchs are able to recover it and push it all the way back down to the goalkeeper, Simpkins. Simpkins back into action. Sends it over to Alexia Armour. And it'll be an Averett throw in here. Taylor Parks. Trying to find Lindstrom and kicked back out. A lot of kickouts here so far in the first half.
Yeah, neither team has been able to maintain possession for a longer period of time. We saw that versus Greensboro. Greensboro did a really good job of maintaining possession, and they really pinned Averett back and made the pitch small for Averett once they got the ball back. So how Methodist are going to attack and, you know, go about their stuff will be very interesting to see.
Dangerous opportunity there. Will be picked up by the Cougs.
Yeah, it was picked up by Erika Lindström. She's very important for the way this team plays. Averett, when they can, they do like to maintain possession and open up the pitch, but also move their opponents around with the use of shorter passes, and she's so important to maintain possession and then switch the point of attack.
Yeah, Lindstrom, one of 5 seniors on this roster for Averett, trying to bring that veteran leadership. coming out of the net here and trying to kick it back out, and they do. Lindstrom, you mentioned, from Sweden. Trying to finish her career off on a high note here for the Cougars. Going to get their first home victory here. Back into play, trying to get it over the Monarchs. Pedraza sends it back. And the Cougars trying to push it to the far side of the field, but it looks like it's going to roll just out of play.
In these kind of situations, when they win the ball and Methodist have so many players up, I'd like to see even more urgency and purpose behind the attack by the Cougars. These are the situations where they need to run up the pitch. The defensive line needs to get up, push their midfielders and attackers up to attack that space in behind, but there was just not enough of that in that situation.
Trying to get some space here, and it's going to be a little bit of a foot race, picking it up and sending it over the top to Stoll. Stoll fighting, getting past the defender, trying to send a crosser towards the middle. She does. It's a good opportunity, and it looks like it's blocked up by the Averett defense.
A very well-worked attack, but a telling block there at the end by Lucia Sanchez. She did a really good job of just getting her foot in, and then Averett cleared, and now they have a chance to launch the counterattack.
Yep, just like that. Averett now on the offensive attack. Sending it over, but it looks like it's going to be an offsides.
Evans tried to find Haymore in behind, and they've had a good connection at times so far this season. Those two up front, it's going to be very important, especially Haymore, how willingly she's able to run in behind. She's impressed with her directness of play and how often she wins those foot races. So if Averett wants to get in behind, she's definitely the main outlet.
Yeah, you talked about it there. Evans and Haymore, a little senior freshman duo there, trying to connect. The ball still fought around here. Averett trying to keep possession, but they lose it. Back to the Monarchs. To the middle of the field. And back to the goalkeeper here. A couple of really good opportunities by both squads. Averett a little bit earlier, and then Methodist more recently, but both shots on net have been pretty even so far. Cougars take it past the 50. Here comes a long pass towards the net. Minfo hits it off of her head, and it's successfully cleared out there. Nice play on defense from the Monarchs. Looked like Millard was able to keep that alive, but the referee says that she was out of bounds, and so it'll be an Averett throw-in now. Taylor Parks waits. And she gets it in. Send it back over to goalkeeper. Far side of the 20 here. Methodist trying to put a little pressure on Averett's offense. They are way up. Cougars just trying to clear this out, but now we're going to have a whistle.
Yeah, the referee deemed that it hit the hand of Evans. Those situations are very difficult. I mean, we could talk about all day, the controversy of the handball rule, which has created a lot of headlines the last couple of years. But at the end of the day, what happened was that Methodist intensified their pressure after Averett tried to send it long, and that forced a long touch, which led to that handball, and now a free kick, which they weren't able to capitalize on. But still, they created a dangerous opportunity through their high press.
How do you feel about the free kick there, Carlos, and the shot from Methodist? I mean, it seemed like it was a little bit of a big play shot towards the net. I know sometimes people try to go for the pass inside and try to get a header there. It looked like they were going for the big shot for the goal.
Yeah, I respect the optimism, if anything. I mean, we like to see those shots for those that follow soccer. We just feel like sometimes there's not enough of it, if anything. So, sure, it might have been more statistically likely that if it was a cross, there would have been a goal. But if that would have been a goal, I mean, we would have remembered that for the rest of our lives. So,
True.
so if you want to, provide that perspective, obviously it's more fun that it's a shot. But there's multiple reasons. I mean, sometimes you just try to put it in between the posts and then just get some low height on it, and then there might be a rebound, it might bounce around, you create something. That's a very common tactic, just to get it on target. Whilst that, I think that was just mishit, so it ended up as fish nor bird.
Haymore and Pedraza fighting for the ball here, and Everett's offense has gone a little bit quiet, trying to change that right here. Lindstrom, Pedraza still fighting for it, and kick back out here. Lindstrom with the ball, sends it over, and that's going to be picked off. It's a turnover. Methodist trying to run it, but she loses the handle of the ball. Potentially a wasted opportunity there for the Monarchs, as it looked like they had some numbers. Stoll now gets it past the 30. Nice pass inside here, trying to get a crossing pass. Defended nicely, though, by Averett. That's going to go out, and see, maybe a corner kick here coming up for Methodist.
Yeah, Pelleton once again covering that left half space. She does such a good job of going out and making that space smaller for whoever's on that right side, trying to get across and making life difficult. It went out for a corner kick this time, but it's important just to get out there to make sure they don't get that cross inside the box.
So here comes another opportunity here for the Monarchs. They've got a corner kick from the near side of the field. They'll roll it in, be a pass back, and nice defense there from Averett. That was Pelleton again on the defensive side of the ball, making an impact on this game. 3 headers in a row there, and finally back into the possession of Averett. The intensity rises here as we are just under 18 minutes to go here in the first half, Carlos. Really see the play picking up right now.
Yeah, it seems like both teams are settling into their tactical game plans. Averett, even though they are at home, they're trying to stay a little further back and open up the space.
Here comes another opportunity. Haymore couldn't get it done, but that shot goes wide right. One of Averett's best looks so far on the day. Delaney Haymore had a good look there. Couldn't get it down.
Yeah, it was very well done. And that the throw when taken, it was dangerous. It was in behind, and it was very well done to keep it alive, apply pressure, and then all of a sudden you're inside of the box, and then the finish was just not executed to the ideal level, but it was still a very dangerous opportunity. Giving or setting some nerves in the Methodist team.
Yeah, I think Averett really needed that push right there. It seemed like the Monarchs were kind of dominating the middle part of this first half. Averett getting a good opportunity there. So another Monarch slips as they try to keep an offensive possession. Send it over to Stoll. Pedraza fights for it, falls down, and now here comes Methodist. Stoll, pass inside, keeping the handle on it, and now going into a double team. Good pass back out. Millard's shot is right into the hands of Crones.
Crones has stood strong so far. I like that she's very capable of catching it and then starting a counterattack. Ideally, you don't need a parry and create a rebound of any sort, so you're able to just take it into your grasp and keep possession within your team, and she's done a very good job of doing that so far.
High ball here is going to go just out of play around the 50-yard line. Seen a pretty evenly matched game here, and this is a big matchup for the Cougars. If you guys weren't here during the pregame, we were talking about it. Monarchs had such a successful season last year, and this is still a young Averett team trying to get a statement win here early in non-conference.
A win here certainly would be a statement, especially after the first 2 of this three-peat of home games. It would be very nice for them to end it on a high. Yeah,
and you can look at rosters and history and stuff like that. I always like to look at the coaching staff as well, and you look at Coach Mayday now in his 16th season. I mean, that is just consistency, and you don't coach 16 seasons for nothing. I mean, obviously he's had plenty of success here, and Coach Duchess now in his second season. You look at this, and it definitely could be an opportunity for Coach Duchess to get kind of that signature win like we were talking about and, boost the morale here of the team as free kick there goes towards the net and picked out by Averett and all the way back out of bounds.
Yeah, but I like the point that you made that, there's a big difference between someone who's coached the same team for 16 years and then someone who's just in their second season now. Both coaches are learning something new every day, but when you're in your second seasons, things are still very fresh and you're still new to the whole recruiting part. Everything is still new to you, to some extent. So I like your point about boosting morale, but I think even more boosting belief within the team, within the program, just feeling like, okay, we're going somewhere with this. I think that's very important, especially for those freshmen and sophomores who might think, oh, if that doesn't work, I want to transfer. But if they see that they're able to win against the reigning USA South Conference winners, then they think that this might go somewhere positive.
Yeah, 100%. And, you talk about the belief and everything, and, Averett had a really nice road opener against Ferrum when they won 2-0 in that one. And that's another one, a non-conference game, but still one of those teams that seems like they're always in contention, and Averett getting a win in that one was big and could maybe boost them here in this one. Nice kick out there, trying to keep it alive. Monarchs pesty on defense. Ooh, another slip there. Just having a hard time staying on their feet.
Yeah,
in the first half.
I was about to say it myself. I'm not sure if it's something to do with the field, or if it's the cleats, or if it's just that Methodist have a different kind of surface. I'm not sure what it is, but
yeah.
The thing is, it's only been Methodist which have had the problem so far. I haven't noticed on Averett all season, but this game and not any of the other games previously for both the men and the women. So
yeah,
this is different.
I'm not quite sure if Methodist plays on grass or turf, but the way that the first half has seemed so far, it looks like a team that is normally playing on grass versus a team that came out here in August playing on turf, obviously in Averett. See if that becomes a factor. Obviously, we saw Methodist have a little bit of a fast break opportunity that was negated by the slip. I believe it was Miller, but it's definitely been an issue so far, as we'll have another corner kick coming up here with just about 12 minutes left in the first half. So we'll see how the Monarchs play this one. Last time they kind of rolled it in for a pass back. See if they send this one towards the net. And they do, and it looked like a good one there, but couldn't get the handle on it. Here comes a header towards the net and picked up there from Crones.
Very well done by Crones. She read the situation. She started her movement early. I think that's what's so important in those situations. She saw the ball was coming towards the second post from the other side. And then once she saw it was getting headed backwards again towards that second post, she made her movement in that direction and was able to make a catch.
Pedraza finding Lindstrom, ball spinning on her foot, and gets it back out. That was Mackenzie Overly trying to keep possession. The Averett defense does a nice job again there of getting that ball out.
Yeah, I like that they're just getting the ball out of harm's way, and when they clear it, it seems like there's an intent to clear it as far in behind as possible, giving themselves more breathing space, but also to be able to attack that space in behind and make something dangerous happen and pin their opponent backwards.
Ooh, a foot race there, ends up with the ball out of bounds. Good defensive intensity by both squads here in the first half. So we're 10 minutes to go. See if anybody can break the seal.
Just a little update on the game in Greensboro. Averett won that game 2-0. The final whistle has been blown. The goals by Hamscom and Garcia were enough to beat Greensboro 2-0. And in a very crazy game in that sense that they were able to get the 2-0 win, just because Greensboro on face value dominated the game. They had 8 shots on goal from 16 shots, whilst Averett had 9 shots and 3 on goal. So that Averett were able to come out of that with a win is a testament to the work they've put in the preseason and this formation change and this mentality change to being willingly suffer a little more, to have more space in their attacks. When they attack, they try to get more in behind, and they're not as stuck in their way to just maintain possession and dominate every game. They're more now willing to stay behind and launch counterattacks instead.
Yeah, 100%. That's a huge win there, Carlos, early in the season for the men's soccer team. You talk about keeping the clean sheet, 0 goals for Greensboro. You'll take that any day. And, I mentioned it a little bit earlier too, but, when your top goal scorer goes down with a knee injury for the season, it can create a little bit of a hole. Cougars trying to find their way around, and it looks like they did today. Here comes a shot, and it's blocked up by the Averett defense. Ooh, nice ball position there. Here come the Cougars, past the 40, pass over towards the middle. Minifo can't get it. It'll roll all the way over to number 24 there, Hunter.
Haymore did a really good job of reading the space in behind her.
Ooh, here comes a good chance, but yep, that one's picked off as well.
I was just going to say she did a really good job of scanning and reading the space in behind her and letting the ball roll into that path, not necessarily stopping it and turning. She lets the ball roll, keep its momentum so that she can just run into that space, maintain control of the ball, and try to find a teammate in behind.
8:15 left here in the first half. Team that has dominated Averett for a long time, and we mentioned it in the pregame. The Cougars just 6 wins in over 30 matches between the Monarchs. Last victory was 2013. You want to talk about a morale boost? This could do it right here. Favorite's able to come out on top.
Yeah, not only a morale boost, but also, getting that mental block out of the way. It's certainly a mental hurdle when you're playing against a team that you haven't beaten in 12 years. I mean, those things are difficult. So if you're able to make such a big change and going back to winning ways after 12 years, you're making a statement not only towards your opponents but within the team as well.
Ball bounced out here. Just get the feeling that there might be one big push from either side here down the stretch.
Yeah, it's always down the stretch. Things get so complicated because both teams are wondering, are we going to go for it? Are they going to go for it? Should we just maintain a clean sheet out the half, or should we try to get an advantage into the half? It's those high-risk, high-reward situations.
Crone's nice pass there. Try to get the ball up. Pass to a pass and spin move here from Alvarado. Alvarado fresh into the game, freshman from Liberty High School in Virginia. Here comes a nice opportunity. The Monarchs send it towards the net, and it's picked up by Crones. Good save there, but Methodist was able to crack through that Averett defense and get a wide open shot towards the net.
Yeah, that was a wide open shot. They applied pressure when Alvarado had her back to goal, making it very difficult for her to turn. They picked the ball up and they attacked the space straight away, wasting no time to get in behind. They did a really good job of creating such an open opportunity, but the execution and the final touch was just poor.
Pedraza gets a good pass over towards the 40, but it's picked back up by Methodist. And now they're running again. And just like we talked about, it felt like a good opportunity might arise. One just happened there. Let's see if another one happens. Good cross inside, kicked away by Averett's defense. This shot goes right through the goalpost and over the head of Crones. So Averett defense on their heels a little bit here down the stretch.
Yeah, they are, and it's in these moments where you can see the lack of squad depth that Averett have. That lack of squad depth makes things so difficult, especially against a team like Methodist, which seem to have a lot of squad depth. So it's just those small disadvantages that make tactical and physical rotation towards the end of halves very difficult.
Keeping the pressure on here. Trying to get it in towards the middle. Good defense by Averett, trying to keep the ball in front of them. Not allow any breakaways. Back to the far side of the 25. We get past the 20 here. Good head of steam, and it's sent towards the net and picked up once again by Crones. So a couple of nice, easy saves for her.
Hunter did a really good job of cutting inside. It seems like she's right-footed, so she wants to come on that inside when she's on the left. And she did a really good job of faking a couple of times the shot and then finding herself in that central area with a space to execute. She was just a little far out, but so it's very difficult to kind of decide what kind of shot to do in those distances. But she did a good job of keeping it low and hard, but Crones did a good job of reading the situation and moving her feet early.
Now a double team here against number 3 of Averett. Pelleton trying to push it up. Lindstrom trying to keep it, but loses it to Reimer. Reimer back up to Herden. And all the way over to Armour. Little space here for the Monarchs. Gonna break through the defense there. Nice send out by Averett, but it goes back out of play. Under 3.5 to go now. Be a Methodist throw in. Ball is picked up there. Good defense by Averett. Ball denial. And back all the way to the other side of the field. This is a Methodist team that has struggled to score, Carlos, in their first 2 games. Scored 0 goals against Eastern Mennonite, and then just 1 in their last game against Guilford. And you can imagine it's probably getting a little bit frustrating here for them, a team that made the NCAA tournament last year, and now with just 1 goal through 2.5 games.
Yeah, those things are frustrating. You don't really know why, but at least they're not conceding much neither. So you never really know. I mean, it's difficult to tell because I always say that scoring goals is the most difficult thing to do in this sport because it's always easier to not concede than score goals. So finding that balance is very difficult, but you don't lose if you don't concede. You can say it that way.
Yeah, and Averett, a team that has scored a goal in each of their first 3 games. Just 1 last game against Greensboro, but still applying the pressure. Like you mentioned, I mean, it's definitely not easy to score a goal in soccer. It's not like making a 3-pointer in basketball or, hitting a home run in baseball. It's
I mean, neither of those things are easy as well. But
no,
they just,
for sure.
They just count for more.
Exactly.
But like, it's fun to watch Averett because you know there'll be goals in the game. But the thing is, I mean, when you concede 4, scoring 1 isn't enough.
There's a shot on net. Good defense by Averett again, blocking that shot before it can even get to Crones. Just under 90 seconds now. And a corner kick coming up here for Methodist, and this has the feel of the potential last push of the half, and Averett's got to stand strong here at the net. Crones getting first start of the season here today. Comes the shot towards the net, and it's blocked up by Averett, but now here comes a shot, and it's picked back up here by Methodist off the rebound. Another shot towards the goal, and it's picked up by Crones. Crisis averted there for the Cougs. And now they send it all the way past the 50. Here comes a foot race. Looks like that's going to be one that Stoll will win. And now 30 seconds left in the half. What does Averett have is they'll have a throw in and a potential offensive push here if they're able to get it past the defense. 20 seconds. Sends it in here. Pelton loses it. 10 seconds. Potential shot here at the net, and it's deflected away by Averett's defense. Now 5 seconds, and I believe that's going to send us to the half break, and it will. So corner kick, they're trying to get in there as before the time expired, but that'll send us to halftime here. 0-0. And Carlos, thoughts on the first half so far? Averett's got a good opportunity here to win this game.
Yeah, Averett are still fully in this game. It's two teams that want to attack one another, but they want to do so in different manners. Averett seemed to have changed a little since their Greensboro game. We talked about the starting lineup, but there was substitutions made early anyway. But they seemed different tactically. Averett seemed like they wanted to dominate possession all the time against Greensboro, but in this game they understood that's not going to be today. You know, like they understand that they're not going to be the dominant team in terms of possession today. They're not going to be the ones moving the ball around and creating opportunities through intricate play, all of that. They know that they need to be a little more defensive so that they can capitalize on the spaces that Methodist leave in behind.
Yeah, let's see if Averett can do it here in the second half. We'll have a 14-minute break, and we'll join you right back here on the Averett Sports Network on Flow College.
Is inclusive, encompassing, inspiring. Averett University provides all you need for a future you deserve through learning that embraces all of your infinite potential with flexible online and on-campus programs like our newest programs in entrepreneurship and psychology, with more coming soon. With affordable tuition and 24/7 support, it all leads to you becoming a catalyst for positive change. Visit allaverett.com. Averett University. Are you all in? is inclusive, encompassing, inspiring. Averett University provides all you need for a future you deserve through learning that embraces all of your infinite potential with flexible online and on-campus programs like our newest programs in entrepreneurship and psychology, with more coming soon, with affordable tuition and 24/7 support. It all leads to you becoming a catalyst for positive change. Visit allaverett.com. Averett University. Are you all in?
Sova Health has the heart care you need to stay healthy. As a Duke Health affiliate in heart care, they are backed by the latest Duke guidelines and research, providing our community with enhanced quality health care. Whether it's cardiac screening or emergency heart care at their accredited chest pain center, they provide quality treatment close to home. Sova Health, heart care to live your healthiest life. Visit online at sovahealth.com/heart.
And we are back here on the Averett Sports Network. Thomas Heaney III, joined by Carlos Soli. The Cougars all tied up here with 1 minute left on the clock before we resume play in the second half. Averett had a good first half there, going up against a team they haven't gotten a victory in 12 years. So, Carlos, what do you think Averett has to do here in the second half to close it out and get that win?
I don't think they have to do much different. I think I mean, I do like the way they've set up in terms of being a little more defensive and being a little more pragmatic, but also making the pitch smaller, making it more compact, making themselves more difficult to play through than they did compared to Greensboro. So it seems like they've picked up on something compared to the game against Greensboro, but I would like to see them be even more urgent and play with even more purpose attacking-wise. With that, I mean, once they sit back and defend, once they do have those attacks or those chances to launch counterattacks, that they do, and they do so with numbers. Because if you do so and you do so with numbers, then if it works, which I mean is ideal.
Yeah,
but if you also push players up, you do also get that breathing space away from your own goal. You're able to, just be a little more relaxed and maintain possession and all these kind of things. So it's just, I'd like them to see that be even more flexible in that sense.
Yeah, for sure. When we look at that first half and we take a look at some of the stats, the shots, in particular the shots on goal, were really dominated by the Monarchs, 13-2 on shots and then 5-1 on shots on goal. Goaltender Crones was really tested there in the first half, making her first start. 5 saves, keeping Averett in the game. Averett 1 offsides, 2 fouls apiece by both teams, and then 4 corners for the Monarchs. So Averett looking to get the victory here at home. It will be their first of the season here at Frank R. Campbell Stadium. But definitely a first half, shots-wise at least, dominated by the Monarchs. But, it's one of those games I feel like so far where if you watch the game, it feels a lot closer than what the stats may show.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point you make, that it's a lot closer than the stats show, because there's two teams that are playing at a very similar level. It's just that they're different in play style. So at face value, you'd think that Methodist are running over, but that's not really the case. But also, I mean, if we saw that Averett had a chance early on before Methodist got going, and that was that 1-2 getting in behind, and then I think it was Kelly who got the final shot from the Evans pass. So it's those kind of situations we need to see more from Averett.
Yeah, 45 minutes on the clock here, and here we go. Second half begins 0-0, Averett and Methodist. Start with the Monarchs. Averett trying to get some momentum here. Brooke Hunter starting out with the ball and sends way to Palicrassi. Palicrassi back to the middle. Switch sides here. Methodist on the right side of the field to begin the first half. Gets it over to number 24, Brooke Hunter. Hunter working against a double team. Sends an outlet pass all the way down the field to Curies. Keeping possession here towards the middle. Methodist all the way over, and that one looks like it might go out of bounds, and it does. So hot start here for Methodist on offense, but can't get a shot towards the net.
They weren't able to get the shot on net, but once again they were able to pull off a shot. They've been doing that very much. The shot, obviously, which we talked about how many shots they've had, but they constantly try to switch the point of attack in a chance to move Averett around, and then once they see that little half space in those central areas, they try to attack it. So they have a very clear game plan offensively.
Yeah, we touched on it a little bit in the first half as well, but this is a Methodist team that has really struggled to score goals early in this season. We're taking a look at some of the stats earlier. Just 1 goal through the first 2.5 games now. 0 in this one, and so got to imagine they're going to try to break that soon. Here comes an outlet pass inside, and good defense there from number 24 on Methodist. That was Brooke Hunter again. That almost was an breakaway shot for Averett.
Yeah, it was good, and that's the kind of things we need to see more of. And Haymore, who we mentioned earlier on in this broadcast, just how dangerous she is when she's direct and running willingly. So her movement creates space elsewhere. So you can either send it to her or someone else will find space.
Hunter gets it over Patchett. And back over to number 8, Pellicrossi.
What you mentioned about shots and goals, it's a very interesting subject because, I mean, that's what we watched the game for. But also, prior to this game, Methodist tallied 25 shots in 2 games with 9 being on target. So it's just the biggest problem has not been chance creation or shot creation. It's been the final, the telling shot, just been poorly executed so far.
Yeah, we talk about that too in hockey all the time. And, you'll look at the stats and you'll see, 45 shots on goal. But, you also look at some of those shots and see, well, how many of those shots were really quality shots? A lot of times, too, they're just kind of sending them towards the net. And so
Yeah.
Methodist trying to get some of those quality shots. They'll have a chance right here on the corner kick. Pass in, right back. And in towards the middle, a header, still loose. Averett's got to get this ball out. And it looks like they'll be able to do that. Dangerous chance. Averett's able to put out the fire. Now sending it back down. Getting it inside. Nice pass back. Oh, good setup here. But it's taken away by Methodist, and that's number 8, Pellicrossi again.
Very well done by Averett. They were able to launch the counterattack. It was very, very well executed from back to front. They were just unlucky not to get, into that final space and behind. But I loved that Kelly drove with the ball as she's done so many times this season. After that Pedraza clearance, she ran it up, and then Evans did a good job of, even though she had her back to goal, she had awareness. She laid it back off to Kelly, and Kelly with the first-time pass into the feet of Haymore. It was just very well defended with that final clearance.
Yeah, Isabella Kelly, we haven't called her name too much, but yeah, she's another young piece here, a freshman from Wake Forest, North Carolina. Coach Duchess has been leaning on here early in the season. She's done a really good job so far.
Yeah, she has. For those that have been watching the Averett women's team so far this season, they know that even though Averett have conceded goals, her and Peloton have been very, very good this season. They've worked well together. I think that's the most impressive thing. Despite their lack of playing time together, with how little they've played with one another, they've been able to show some really good chemistry early on in the season.
Evans with a spin cycle move to try to get out of danger. Sends it back over to Pedraza. Back over to Lindstrom. Pedraza walking that tight line on the sidelines and steps out. Be a throw in here for the Monarchs. So pushing the ball around here. And now some clear possession and some clear space for Brooke Hunter. One of the things, too, we saw in that first half wasn't too much of a big deal, but if you're just joining us now, is Monarchs have had a little bit of trouble staying on their feet. They've had about 3 slips, and one of them maybe potentially cost them a fast break shot. So see if they can get their cleats under them here. This shot goes towards the top of the net and goes in for a goal. What a shot there from an incredible angle.
Yeah, I mean, wow. I mean, if it was meant as a shot or a cross, I guess we'll never know. But it ended up in the net, and it was very, very well shot. She got a great connection, and it's a goal, and she's giving her team the advantage.
I mean, my goodness. I mean, that ball was shot from far out, from about the 15-yard line. I mean, just an incredible shot there. And like you said, I mean, we weren't even really expecting that ball to go close to the net. The next thing you know, it's in the back of the net. So terrific shot there from Ali Kuros.
Yeah, it was very well done. She got a great connection onto it, and it's not the first time such a shot has gone in against Averett. They've been unlucky in that sense. It's been on that right-hand side where the opponent has, pulled a rabbit out of the hat, and that's happened once again.
How will Averett respond here after the first goal of the game? Scored by Kuros. Here comes a good look coming out of the net here, Simpkins, and she'll able to get it and send it back out to Hunter. Just the second goal of the season for Methodist, and maybe that can get them going here as this pass goes over to number 16, Carter. Carter trying to stay on her feet. She does. Sends it back to the middle. And all the way back to the near side of the 20-yard line. It's Brooke Hunter. And now a whistle as Carter was fighting for positioning. So here we go back into action here. Koros, her first goal of the season.
I mean, that's one way to start your or open up your account for the season. It doesn't get any crazier than that, really. I mean, I think the angle was what's so crazy about it, because it wasn't poor goalkeeping. The goalkeeper, she stood correctly, so that the ball was able to go over her head and into the top far corner from that angle is just, yeah, I mean, that's crazy. Yeah,
and you talk about start to the season, first goal of the season. Kuros, her first goal of her college career. She's a freshman, so definitely one she'll remember. Freshman from Chesapeake, Virginia. Here comes Averett now, trying to push the ball towards the net. As Evans fighting and right on that line, keeping it in. And be retained Monarchs here. Back over, and it just seems like Methodist has a little bit more energy now and some swagger about them now that they've finally broken the seal here and gotten that goal.
Yeah, they do. They seem like they found a rhythm. They feel comfortable. They believe in one another. Whilst Averett, they haven't dropped in the sense of, it doesn't seem like they're, disappointed. They don't seem that they're making rash decisions or anything, but they are intensifying their pressure, which means if the pressure doesn't work, there will be spaces elsewhere, and you see that kind of in the way that Methodists have been able to break the lines and advance into the different thirds of the field.
Back to the 50-yard line here, a throw in. Or free kick, rather, all the way down towards the 10. And headed out nicely there by Averett. Trying to push the issue here, keep the ball on her foot. Good head of steam, trying to win the foot race past the 10. Slamming on the brakes. Taking a look around, but then loses the handle of it. So Averett, decent opportunity there. Kuros, who had our first goal, swings it back over to Ludka. She sends this one over and picked up there from Crones. Exactly 10 minutes have gone by here in the second half. So far, the Kuros goal's the difference, Carlos.
Yeah, that's the only difference, but I feel like the game and the way it's played out was kind of as we would expect. So, and I mean, that was a free goal, as we mentioned, but now that's in the past, and if Averett are able to look past it and try to add even more pressure and be even more dominant, then I still think that Averett are in this game.
Here comes a good opportunity towards the net. Takes a shot. Oh, nice save there from Crones.
She was deemed offside, but it was great to see Peloton really showed her appreciation for that save. Once again, she did really good. This time it was a very different situation. When we won, she did a good job of getting out of the net early. We've seen her move her feet well from side to side, but being offensive, being on the front foot and moving out early is very important for goalkeepers so that they can close those angles and make life difficult for the strikers. But she did a really good job of doing so.
Crones now 6 saves. That's the new goalkeeper for the Cougs. She'll send it back over to the 50. Double teamed and bounce back out to Hunter. Over to Simpkins. And she'll collect herself. around, and it's picked off. A turnover here for the Monarchs. Averett trying to get it over and towards the middle and just missed that opportunity. Get another whistle here by the referee. This one might be going against Methodist. So it looks like it'll be a free kick here for Averett. See how they play this one, Carlos. Again, we talked about that earlier. I mean, this is a pretty long shot, but Averett already trailing, so maybe try to go for the big play here. Sends it over towards the net, and it's defended nicely there, keeping it away from the goalkeeper, Simpkins.
It was a very teasing pass. It was very well placed, but Methodist did a good job of just clearing it and now launching the counterattack.
Counterattack past the far side of the 10, but loses it. Gets it right back. Good pass towards the middle. And coming out is Crones, and she makes the catch. That's one there. You just start yelling keepers, and everybody tries to get out of the way. She makes the nice catch there.
You say that. I mean, that's a very good point. I know we're laughing, but as a goalkeeper, you see the whole pitch.
Yep.
So you have the best view out of anyone. Like, I've always been a striker. I've always been a forward, and I rarely make those kind of decisions, and I rarely tell the team when we should press or whatever, just because I'm not seeing much of the field, but the goalkeeper sees everything, which is why her communication in this game will be so important. She will tell the team when to push up, who to mark, but also when to counterattack or when to just maintain possession in their own defensive third.
Yeah, Crones, good points there. And Crones trusting her instincts there and coming out for that ball, and it was the right move. Trying to stop that attack. But Averett's definitely been back on their heels in this second half, really from the jump. Haven't had too many offensive possessions so far. Comes another chance here, shot towards the net, and picked up by Crones. To the middle now. Gonna get over to Cousins. A little bit of an errant pass there, keeping it alive. Number 14.
Yeah, it's very difficult for Averett to maintain possession and launch those counterattacks, because even though Methodist, they attack with so many numbers, all those numbers are so close to the ball once they lose it that getting out of that small space for Averett is very difficult. You're forced to send it long, and even that's into space, and that's either a pass which is too strong and it goes out, or it's a pass that's too short and it's intercepted. So those situations are very difficult for Averett.
Overly gets it back over the goalkeeper Crones, trying to find, looked like Evans there in the middle, couldn't connect.
It's now Averett need to push more numbers up. They've sent the ball all the way back to the opponent goalkeeper. That's when they need to make life more difficult for their opponent. Get numbers up and press high so they can win the ball higher up the pitch.
Yeah, great point. Averett very aggressive to begin this game, but like we said, Methodist kind of had an answer for that, and it's almost kind of like the counter to the counter. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Averett's really got to try to find a way here to find what they had in the beginning of the game and try to get that goal and tie this one up.
Yeah, I mean, like, tactically, soccer is very much like a game of chess. You can have a good start. You can provide a really good opening, but then all of a sudden the game is switched on its head, and you have to find a new solution.
So we're trying to keep it here on the right side of the field, place they haven't been too much here in the second half, as we're just under 30 minutes left in the second half of play. It's that one over to Sanchez, and she loses it. Here comes a break. That's Ludka all the way on the near side of the field. Gets a pass inside. It's deflected by an Averett defender and booted way out of play.
Lindström did a really good job of tracking back, but overly as well. She saw that Sanchez was caught high up. she applied pressure onto that right-hand side, covering the space of Sanchez, meaning that Sanchez could go on the inside again. So they just switch roles, but it's very important to be aware of each other's space and cover for one another when needed.
Hunter awaits as the offense gets set up here. Be a throw in. Getting it back to Hunter. Back over to Kuros. Good cross here to the middle, but Averett defends it well. And getting it back to the 40. Let's see if Averett can cook something up here on offense. Get that one past the 40, but can't do so. Hunter, ooh, nice pass inside. Here comes Carter. Carter sets it up. Averett brings the double team. And that one goes out of play.
Averett did a really good job of coming back and getting into defensive shape, making it difficult to find space inside their own defensive third for Methodist, forcing them to make an error, and now they have the ball back.
Now here comes Averett again. Pedraza fighting for it. And kicking it back here. Methodist staying aggressive on defense despite the lead. Trying not to change up the way they've been playing because it's been working so far.
Yeah, Methodist have executed their game plan well so far. And Averett not much worse. It's just that one piece of magic which has been the telling difference so far. But with the game edging closer to its final minutes, Averett need to go up a gear offensively.
Yeah, that's the thing, too, is that from what I've noticed from watching soccer is you look up, right now we've got over 26 minutes to play, but in the blink of an eye, you'll look, and that one goes over the net. But in the blink of an eye, you'll look, and there'll be 10 minutes left, and you realize you got to get going fast. So better to start right now than to wait and take a look at the clock and see that it's almost over.
100%, and it's just the fact that, soccer is 45 minutes at a time, never ending, really. And it's just so important that you make the most out of every minute you have. And Averett, they have made the most out of it in the sense of that they've stood strong and they've made the pitch smaller and more compact for their opponent. And in the second half, Methodist haven't created many high-quality chances. It's just that one shot that went in. But Averett themselves haven't neither. It's at this point Averett need to try to build something offensively.
Averett tries to build that offense here down the stretch. Hasn't working so far, but still some time left. Fight for the ball, and Ludka loses it.
It's like you said, there's certainly still time, but if you're going to make changes, I feel like the best time is now, because if you're making tactical changes, by now, until the end of the game, they will have been implemented. They will have had a say. They will be given time, those tactical changes, to create something new. If it's a formation change, if it's a position change, whatever it may be, those tactical changes, they need to happen now, because if it's 5 minutes, you're just throwing the kitchen sink at it, and it just makes it more difficult to have a say for that tactical change. That tactical change won't make as much of an impact. So if you do it now, you'll also be able to revert back if needed.
Yeah, 100%. One of the players I keep watching on the field is the freshman Haymore, and she's got a burst, Carlos. I mean, there was the last play that we just saw there, and ultimately she lost the ball. Here comes a shot towards the net, and it's picked up by Krones. But Haymore's had a little bit of a burst, and I'd say she's one of the players to watch here down the stretch as Averett tries to maybe get a fast break opportunity and, obviously try to tie the game. But she's looked good so far here on the field.
She has. I've been very impressed all season with her directness of play, her willingness to run in behind. And the first time I saw it, I think she was the one that got the assist for Isabel Evans in the scrimmage versus Johnson and Wales when they lost 2-1 here at home a couple weeks back. But, that dress rehearsal was very impressive for her sake, just because she was running so much in behind. And even though she's a freshman, she was she was providing so much physical prowess to this team, which has been lacking that previously.
So getting it back here. That's Carter towards the net. Dangerous opportunity, and Averett's able to swipe it away. Still keeping possession here, though. Here comes a shot towards the net. That one is way off.
It was very well worked. The left winger was very smart in her play. She knew she had space in behind her, but she also knew that she had her back to goal and she wouldn't be able to turn. So it's kind of similar to what Haymore did earlier on in the game. She let the ball roll into the space and behind and then ran onto it and then provided a very dangerous pass, or a very dangerous cross, should I say, into that second post. It was just unfortunate no one was able to get a foot onto it.
Haymore there trying to keep it on her foot. It's a nice pass over, but picked up by Methodist and Brooke Hunter. Hunter, full head of steam, sends it over to the far side of the 20. Getting it around, maybe looking for a crossing, centering pass. That's what they do, but it's deflected away by Averett. Still on the attack here. Hunter pushes it back up to the 30. Still in play here for Methodist. And now all the way over the near side with Hunter again.
Yeah, they're switching the point of attack. They've done that so much this game, and they have been rewarded for it. Their ability to maintain possession. They've created chances, and now Averett just need to continue to stay firm as they have, but implement more attacking opportunities in their game.
Good opportunity here for a crosser. This one goes wide right. Piper, the first time that we've called her name here tonight. Not able to get it done. Back into the hands of Crohn's. So as time keeps dwindling down here, Averett trails by 1. And looking to get a good shot on net here. Ooh, look at the aggressiveness here from the Monarchs. Not allowing any airspace for the Cougars. Haymore in pursuit. Can she get it? And no, it goes out of bounds.
It was a very, very dangerous pass in behind by Kelly. Lindström has just been subbed on, which means Kelly is going back to her right center back position, which she's played most of the season. And straight away, she linked up with her fellow center back to bypass that press and then get in behind.
Here comes a shot towards the net, and it's going to be picked up there from Simpkins, her first save of the second half. Good shot there from Averett.
Yeah, they made the most out of that situation. They were able to create a dangerous opportunity right outside the box, and that ball was teasing. It was in that no man's land as we talked about, and if someone would have been able to get their foot on it, I'm sure that would have been a goal.
Simpkins trying to keep the ball in safe hands, sends it over to Hunter. Should be defended here and cut off nicely. Wow, heads up. That one went straight. That's one way to get rid of the ball. Goodness.
My favorite thing about Kelly's style of play probably is those clearances. She always clears it as hard as she can, no matter how close she is to, making the clearance just outside. There's no doubt in her mind, and it's fun to see.
Yeah, that's one. If you're shagging down there, you better keep your head on a swivel, man. Here comes an opportunity here for Methodist. Swinging it over towards the middle, and once again, knocked away by the Averett front line. Getting the rebound and keeping possession, though, and that doesn't last for long as that one goes out.
For how much Methodist are creating, it's not high-quality opportunities right in front of goal where they've, done brilliant play. Averett House stood strong, and they've closed off those central areas much. They've consciously pushed Methodist out on the wings, forcing them to, execute difficult crosses, which is why they've failed to connect on so many crosses,
Exactly, and Crohn's will now send it to the middle, but not a great one. It stays in the zone of Averett. Controlled nicely there from Kuros. Back over to Hunter. Brooke Hunter past the 25, centering pass into the middle. Kuros gets this one all the way out of bounds. And with over 18 minutes left here in the second half, Averett's got to get moving here fast. They had a good shot on net a couple of minutes ago, but still just not enough so far.
Yeah, now it's time to turn it up. They've been on the defensive most of the game, but now it's time for them to push numbers up and try to pin Methodist back.
Still trying to get it past the 50 and having a hard time doing so.
It's like I said, they're having a hard time doing so, and that's very understandable with the high press that Methodist are applying.
Comes Stoll all the way towards the net, takes a shot and misses it wide left. Trying to keep possession here, and they do. They get a crosser, sends it back over to Brooke Hunter. Hunter sends a shot towards the net, and it hits off of the crossbar and comes back out, and Krones gets it. Wow. Now they're going to say it's a goal. That one was close, Carl. Yeah, see, you look shocked. I mean, they're going to call that a goal. That was really close.
I'm just laughing because you were looking over to me, and I was still trying to process what was going on, because that's
wow.
that for these two goals to be the two goals of this game, I don't think I've seen two goals have such a big say in a game where it's two goals which have been this crazy. I mean, I thought the first – I was shocked on the first one. Like, I don't know if you looked over me at the first one, but I had the same reaction. But now my mouth was even wider open because that's a shot from deep, and it goes crossbar, down, crossbar in, or something like that. So I thought, the last goal was a rabbit out of the hat, but this was a falcon out of the hat, something like that. I mean, that was crazy.
Yeah, that was insane. I mean, like you said, it hit off of the crossbar first and went straight down, and then – I guess they're going to say it went back in. Krones looked like she made the save, but the ball obviously must have went past the line, I guess, for the goal. So
yeah, I mean, the linesman said so, and I think he's the one out of the referees with the best angle, but Krones didn't react on it. I think that's I don't know if that's I don't think as a goalie you'd react like, oh, that went in. I think you'd just take the ball anyway, but she did just take the ball and was ready to start a counterattack, which is why I just assumed that the ball didn't go in. So to call that a goal, then the referee, the linesman at least, must have been very certain that was a goal, because if you're unsure and it's 1-0 to the away team, you can't just say, yeah, that's just a goal. It's so those things are very difficult. We don't got goal line technology here, but yeah, I think if he calls a goal, it's because he's very certain of it being a goal.
Yeah, that's one where definitely take a look at the replay when we get back home and see, because, man, that one was it definitely was close for sure either way. But obviously, like you said, the linesman makes the call there, and now 2-0 Methodist, and Averett has a mountain to climb here with 15 minutes left.
Yeah, because my reaction first when you looked over to me was just that she took the shot at all.
Yeah.
That's what left my mouth open, because it's not usual that you see that in any game. But then that it went crossbar, and then down. I think it hit the crossbar twice. Like, it went down and then crossbar again.
Yep.
That's what made my mouth even more open. So I'm still processing it. I don't have a tactical analysis for that yet, but I think Averett now at this point they don't have much to lose. So I think they should just go for it, push more numbers up, maybe even change formation.
Yeah, this goal was scored by Brooke Hunter. So definitely a goal that she will remember. Like you mentioned, I mean, both goals here by the Monarchs have just been spectacular. I mean, the one from the far side of the 20 earlier in the second half was incredible. Just the angle to try to maneuver into the top left corner of the net, and that one as well. So some tough luck for Averett. You definitely feel like they've defended nicely here, but just some hectic shots going in.
Yeah, they have. So, tactically or critiquing a player in this instance would be wrong. You know, when a shot from that many yards go in, you should praise whoever took the shot instead of critiquing whatever happened prior to that.
So Hunter, who just had the goal, loses the ball there. Averett, under 14 to go. Definitely got to try to get one before the 5-minute mark at least to feel like you've got a shot to make this comeback.
Yeah, I would like to see them just go even more for it, not necessarily just in maintaining possession or pressuring high, but I would like to see just more numbers up the pitch so that they can make life more difficult for Methodist, because they're playing in a manner now which Methodist have no problem with. You know, Methodist want to maintain possession, and that was fine up until that second goal, but now that they're 2 goals down, they need to get a lifeline back quickly.
Exactly, and you know, we talk about it in hockey too, you know, emptying the net or doing whatever you have to do to empty the tank, and you know, you realize that you're down 2 right now with 13 to go, so you got to throw everything that you can at them and see what sticks. And Simpkins now is going to be tasked with keeping this clean sheet and pitching the shutout if she's able to finish it off. Now a substitution here. The clock will stop at 12:51. I believe that's a new rule now, Carlos, isn't it, where the clock will actually stop in the second half with a substitution. I don't know if that was the case last year.
Yeah, I think it's I don't know. Yeah, it's something like when the team is ahead too.
Yeah.
Like there's these small intricacies, but I mean whatever stops time wasting, I think is a good rule. But the rules here are very different to what we do in Europe. So when I first learned about it, I was shocked, honestly, because it's obviously the most effective way, you know, stopping the time, because then you get the most playing time. You do get 45 minutes twice.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's always so fun to watch games where it's like the 90th minute, but then they +5, and then then like the team's like, oh, we have a lifeline, 5 minutes left. Let's just throw the kitchen sink at it these 5 minutes, you know. I think, especially in Norway, we talk a lot about the Champions League final in Barcelona in 1999, because there was a Norwegian player who scored for Manchester United to win the final. Both goals coming in the 90th plus minute, you know, so you can't get that here, which for us is kind of sad sentimentally, but I mean, for the effectiveness of play, this is the best solution.
True. Free kick here. Let's see if Averett can get something cooking, as that one goes wide left, and really good opportunity there for Averett. You saw Haymore send that one off.
Yeah, Haymore did a great job of getting that ball into the perfect space. The goalkeeper wasn't rushing out for it. There should have been a runner on that second post really running at it, because if you run at an angle on that second post, you're all alone with an angle straight at goal.
Yeah.
So if Averett would have had a runner in behind there, that would have been a very dangerous opportunity.
So sending back to the middle. Methodist right now just trying to milk this clock out and come out of here with the win. Got a 2-goal lead with 11 minutes left here at Daly Field.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I mean, when you're chasing your first win of the season, you're 2-0 up away, and you've just scored 2 crazy goals, how do you manage the game? Because you play against an opponent who are chasing their first win at home for the season. They'll be really going for it, whilst you, the away team, you have to manage the game in a very specific manner. Then there is no answer sheet for that. So what these two teams will be doing for the next couple of minutes will be very interesting.
Yep, Methodist trying to hold on. Different level of intensity here in the second half. And we mentioned it, a team with a little bit of a disappointing start, in particular offensively, to start the season. And we've seen them have a little bit more of a purpose here in the second half, sending off more shots towards the net. And obviously getting the 2 so far, that's the difference.
Yeah, that is the difference. But you see, again, the shot location. We talked earlier about, you know, comparing shots in soccer with hockey. Just, are you taking shots because of chances that were well created and that came from great play, and that are chances that, okay, they should be scoring these? Or is it just those long shots, or those shots that don't really make sense, or that cross that just ended up being a shot, you know? So credit where credit is due to Methodist for being 2-0 up. Certainly we don't want to take anything away from that, but again, it must be said that if if you would calculate statistically the chance of each shot turning into a goal, I don't think you would believe that Methodist are 2-0 up in this game.
Sending it over towards the net, and Crones is able to knock it out. Another good, really good opportunity there for the Monarchs.
Yeah, I think if anything, this chance was probably a clearer chance or a bigger chance at goal than the 2 goals were, because this was a chance inside the 6-yard box, and it was a header at the second post all alone. It just scooted off the head of the striker, but that was very well worked to get that chance.
Last time these two teams played was 2023, a couple of years ago, and Methodist got the win 2-0 in that one, and if things hold right here, it'll be the same result. 9 minutes left on the offense here. Coming out of the net is Crones.
We talked about, Averett needing to throw the kitchen sink at it, and if it's changing formation or if it's changing mentality, if it's changing the style of play, ideally they'd be able to do that to a greater extent, but when they lack the squad depth, I understand that's very difficult for the manager to do, so if they're able to do something, they should do whatever they can do, because this squad is totally different in size to the one of Methodist. Methodist, they can do very many different things in a matter of seconds, whilst Averett can't. So I think if Averett can't change anything, they should just do that.
A chance here for a dagger with 8:30 left. A corner kick. Send it in for a pass back. Back up to the middle, and a header towards the net, and it's a goal. What a shot there. And Methodist now does put that dagger in. It's 3-0.
A very well-worked set piece. They draw the pressure out and forcing a player to come out and creating a better angle for themselves with that cross. And then, they did a very good job of moving their opponent within the box and then getting a head onto it. And the header was very well executed, making it difficult for Crones to get her hand onto. And it's another goal.
Huge shot there. And Methodist now takes a 3-goal lead. Pellicrossi is able to get that one in for her first goal of the season. And now at the 8:18 mark, Averett hopes look glim as it's been a monstrous second half for the girls in green here.
Yeah, it has. It seemed like they, that final telling pass and that final telling touch really was off in that first half, but in the second half they've turned it up. So respect where respect is needed. They've done a really good job of executing in the second half.
Daphne Pellicrossi, a beautiful header there, and Crones just under attack here in this second half. We mentioned it in the first half, 13 shots, 5 of them on net, and about the same, if not more, here so far in the final 45.
Yeah, it might be more. I'm not keeping count, but keeping count would be very difficult at this point. And that doesn't necessarily mean Averett are doing anything bad. They are letting Methodist have these shots, with many of the shots coming from far distances, so that's totally fine. I think that it's just a problem that Averett aren't pushing up enough. They're not trying to attack enough themselves, and I get that's very difficult against a team like Methodist, but it's in these instances, just like now, when you're clearing it, you need to send more players up. They're not running up. They just need to have a little more urgency and purpose in their attacking play.
Alvarado into the game, the freshman for Averett. Saw her there taking the ball up. And that one will go into the bench. So for Averett, 6 minutes left in this one. And then on the road to Brevard. First conference game on Wednesday, the September 24th. So, Carlos, still a couple of games left for them to try to get this going here. But, watching that first half, it was pretty encouraging. Obviously, the second half hasn't gone Averett's way, but first half, they looked really good. There was a couple of chances where we saw looked like Averett was going to take a 1-0 lead. Some nice saves by Simpkins on the other end, but still, I think there's still a lot to be encouraged by this game, despite the score.
Yeah, I totally agree, especially in that first half offensively. I was impressed with the way they attacked the spaces in behind with clearing it and then short passes and then going in behind again. As that we saw that big chances create one big chance created with that 1-2 between Kelly and Evans, which ended up with that Kelly shot into that far corner, which was when she forced the goalkeeper not even able to hold it. The goalkeeper had to parry it. So we needed more of that in this second half, but they've just not been able to provide that so far.
Shot towards the net, and a nice easy pickup there for Simpkins. Averett still trying to fight for that goal. 3 straight games to start the season with a goal. They were able to get one despite a 4-1 loss against Greensboro last game with Gianna Menifo.
Yeah, that was a very well-worked goal last time out. They pressed high, and then they saw the space in behind, played a couple combinations, and then Menifo was alone with the goalkeeper, and she provided a first-time finish and got a consolation goal.
Yeah, Cougars looking for something like that here down the stretch. A nice pass inside. Still fighting for it, getting it back over Skull. Going all the way around and then giving way to the middle. Back up to the top. Here comes a long shot towards the net. That one is going to go way, way right. So 4:15 left. Averett with the ball, and right now trying to break through the shutout that Simpkins has pitched so far. Back far side of the 50. Here comes a nice pass past the 20, trying to stay on sides here. And does. Momentarily. Takes a shot there. It's hit off of a defender, and we have a whistle.
Yeah, it was deemed offside. I had a feeling that was going to be offside, but again, that was a well-worked attack overly on the left-hand side. She sent it upwards, and then someone was able to find Evans in behind. So it's important to get the ball forwards. I mean, that's how you score goals. It's just not been enough intent of doing so in the second half.
Simpkins sends it back out. 3 minutes to go here at Daly Field. 3 goals by Methodist. The difference so far as they're closing in on their first victory of the 2025 campaign. Moving it up past the 30, all the way down towards the 10. Into that corner. Tough spot to get the ball out, and sure enough, rolls harmlessly out of play.
Averett once again stood strong, and you have to praise their defensive, not only play, but their defensive stability, their defensive formation and positioning. But that only takes you so far, right? When you need to score to win games, and this just been a lack of creativity, I think, is the right word, because there has been those passes in behind and there's been those runners in behind. But if you do that constantly, sure, it's dangerous, but the opponent will be able to read it after a while. They will be able to deal with it.
Haymore was in pursuit of that one, but just too far out of her reach as we dip under 2 minutes to go here. We'll see who has this throw in. I believe it'll be Methodist. And it will. Ball in play. Ball right back out of play. Getting it in here. Back over Stoll. Playing catch here with the Averett defense. Head going back and forth as the ball once again knocked out of play, but Just all kind of for show here as we hit 1 minute remaining in the second half. And ball knocked back out of play. I'm sure Methodist would be happy to just do this for the last minute for sure. Averett sends it all the way over here. Potential 50-50 ball. Trying to head it back over towards the middle. And now a whistle could be offsides. Carlos, what do you think?
I'm not sure, honestly. I was looking over at the linesman just to see what he was doing.
Yeah.
He took his flag down once I was looking. So honestly, I'm not sure if it's a foul or if it's a offside. But either way, it's a free kick in favor of Methodist.
Yeah, I'll go to the soccer expert on that one. I'm not quite sure. 15 seconds left here. Methodist kicks the ball around. Goes back out of play, but this one looks like it's going to end at 3-0. And that's exactly how it will end. Methodist will get their first victory of the season. They improve to 1-0-2. Averett drops to 1-2-1. We talked about it just a moment ago, but Averett's next game will be on the road in Brevard, North Carolina at 4:30 this Saturday. We're taking on the Tornadoes, and then we'll be back here on September 20th. It's a Saturday at 6 p.m. against Guilford College, a team that you were talking about pregame that Methodist played a little bit earlier in the season. So that should be a good game as well. And then first conference game, September 24th, Roanoke on a Wednesday at 5 p.m. So Cougars lose 3-0 here. Carlos, final thoughts as Averett drops their second game of the year.
Final thoughts. It's difficult to take just because Averett stood strong defensively in terms of formation, positioning, compactness, and closing off those central areas for a lot of the game. And it wasn't necessarily a lapse of concentration, which was the problem. It was more the problem of not getting out of that once they had the ball for too many periods of time, for too much time at a time. Averett weren't able to provide themselves with attacking opportunities, and we're not able to do that. You're not able to win games.
Yeah, exactly, and that's kind of what happened here, especially in the second half. Like you were mentioning, Averett fought really well in that first half, but some good adjustments made by the Monarchs, and ultimately gets them their first win of the season. So for Carlos Soli, I'm Thomas Heaney III, saying so long, friends, from the Averett Sports Network on Flow College. We'll be back on Saturday for Averett's next game. So long.
Have a good one, y'all.